going there. All right, Miss Freckles. We've got to do some botfly removal, egg removal around your feet, which is going to be a little bit tricky, but that's okay, we'll get there. And we've also got to do a bit more desensitisation around the barrier bag. Home. Let's get the dog to go home. All right, let's see what we do here. And water down. A couple of things there. I'll go and grab my lead rope that I need to use today. She was very good this morning. She was excellent this morning. She comes straight up, ready to go. If anyone's watching, I can't see you guys. I don't have my glasses on, but thanks for being here. But I can't see a darn thing. All right, lovely. Yeah. I'm going to pop a bit of a longer lead on her, which may give her a bit of a weird sensation because it is longer like a snake, but that's okay. You work with that. And what I'll do, I'll bring this down in here. Worried. We're getting so dry conditions here that it's not. She seems pretty relaxed in my presence, so that's good. Good girl. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this one over here. Today I gave her breakfast on top of this, just to get her used to being around the block, because I want to do a bit of desensitisation work with the block, with the mounting block, because later on might have little kids, you know, going near her and seeing how that goes. It'll be a while yet though. Oh, I can see who it is. Ozzy. Hi, Ozzy. I can see if I stand really far back, but I can't read very well. Good morning. Hi, Freckles. Oh, yeah, good morning. I could read that. That's really good. Okay. So this morning, she's got some, what we call, she had attacked by a botfly yesterday. My girls came up to meet her, and lo and behold, while they're meeting her, we're having a big old botfly. Botflies lay eggs, and they lay eggs on the inside of the legs, around the tummy, around the front end. You can see she's a little uncomfortable with this. Not too bad though. I'm just acting like normal. I'm not worrying about it. So I'm going to see if she'll feed off of that energy. This is called a Botfly knife. And what this does is it removes, and I'll show you in a second if I can. Let me turn that around so I can see what's happening. So I can see if you can see what I'm showing you. But she has some things that are, there's a couple of things here. It's all right, we just don't want to frighten her terribly or anything like that. But on her legs there, you can probably not see them, but there's some little yellow spots. And those little yellow spots are botfly eggs. Now, the reason they're no good is they get up under the horse. They hatch, they get up under the horse's skin, and they cause all sorts of problems. Now, we do worm the horses to prevent anything happening terrible. But there we go, it's all right. It's just that silly old bag, see? It's a silly old bag. So this little thing here has a little scraper on it. It's an excellent tool for getting botflies off. So you've got to get her used to that. It does feel nice on the horse's skin. They like it. It's very much like us having a nice exfoliation kind of thing happening. And what I want her to do, she's freaking out about this lead rope, but that's okay. She'll get okay about it in a minute. Just going to move it there. So there we go. Just that little noise there gave a bit of a startle. But that's okay. We'll work together. Come in. Get yourself comfy again. Good girl. Remembering, I don't want her to constantly rely on me to be her sense of comfort. So I'm going to keep working both sides. Just having a practice run. And get, whoop. Now see that, she was not ready for that. This is how spooky this little horse is. She wasn't ready, and that's my fault there. Once she realised it was me, but she's not paying attention to know that it was me. So this is the part where we've really got to get her to come in and just accept that I'm here. Let her know I'm here. And I'm going to use the Botfly knife, and they're coming off nicely, and she's okay about that. Good girl. Good job. She's a little nervous about it, but it's really not that bad for her. She's probably never ever had this done. Most horses haven't. Most people don't bother. Most people don't even know about Botflies. But if you get yourself educated enough and you know about it and you can do something about it, then you try and do your best you can about it. So I'm going to keep working this side. Get off what I can. Luckily, we don't have the long winter hair right now. Had we have had the long winter hair, it could be a bit more difficult to get them off. There is a certain way to do it. If you've got a horse that's really, really bad, I mean, honestly, the worming will take care of it, but it's best to try and ease things into things. And this is another thing I want her to get used to. Just roughly doing things without her panicking. Getting it rough. She's a lot better today than she was yesterday, I must say. So this is not a bad thing. And I really want her to allow me. You can see she's bumping me there. That, I'm a little nervous right now about getting her around there. Some horses are very sensitive about where the Botflies have laid. Tocky's one of them. He hates the Botfly, and when it goes near him, he goes berserk. She actually got a bit annoyed with it, but she wasn't dreadful about it. Good girl. Relax. Again, I would like her. Oh, see that? She goes to give me her foot straight away. That's lovely. We're going to hold that. Going to hold that. Hold it. Good girl. Just hold it like the farrier would ask. Good girl. Oh, that's all right. That's okay. Might have held a little too long. That's all right. We'll get there. Can you give this one for me? Remember yesterday we had a bit of an issue with her giving this foot. Now today she's fine. Today she's allowing me to touch it. And this is really excellent progress. We're going to see how far down her back end we can get without her freaking. Good girl. She's let me touch a rump. That's nice. Couldn't touch a rump yesterday without some panic. And we're able to touch the bump. There we go. Good girl. She just needs to learn to trust people. That's her biggest issue, is the trust. Now I may spend several hours scraping these off and she will just get them back again. But I'll do it when I can. It's a good desensitization as well for her, to get her not so frightened of everything. Now what I'm going to do, while I've got her here, because she is a little funny about this rope, I'm going to do some movements with the rope right there in between the two of us. She's not too worried about that. Then we're going to go over to the side. Whoop. Doesn't hurt, it's just soft. There we go. It's okay, we're not going over your head, we're just going to the side. You're all right. Come on, we'll go to that side. Good girl, come back in. Little gentler, there we go. There you go. Yeah, she's fine about that. Let's walk in. Good girl. And you can see she's walking in on a very loose rope. She's not worrying to the point where she's pulling back from that rope. She's a bit concerned, but she's not completely panicking. That's really good. Now we're going to try the end of the rope, which has the tassel part on the end. And we'll let her just feel that moment for a minute. All these things are just time and patience, really. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to work with a horse like this. It's not easy. You've got to have a lot of patience. You've got to reinvent the wheel many times over sometimes with these horses. Think of new ways of helping them to relax about things. Just standing here doing this, it's nothing very bad, it's nothing very good. It's just nothing. It's just a motion that's happening. She's starting to relax, she's starting to not worry so much about what I'm doing. The problem is that once she's turned her attention elsewhere and then she turns her attention back, she then begins to worry again. So this anxiety she's holding is very, very strong. It's been there her whole life, I would say. It probably doesn't help if she's around people that don't have patience. That would have been a big problem for her. I don't think you've got to be a rocket scientist to realise this horse is anxious by nature, but depending on what environment you place her in, she can be very different with certain things. So, a lot of people think that when the horse is turning to check things, so if you're coming up alongside a horse, you watch what she'll do. She'll turn to smell. See what I'm doing? See how she's checking me out there? And I want her to stand still while I go to the side. Remember we tried this yesterday and she was not willing. So ask her to come forwards. And I'm going to rub the side there. There she goes. She lets out a relief. Now that little head toss down the bottom here where she's smelling my leg there, that is purely checking to see what I'm up to. It's an insecure thing. So you're not sure. If you've got a very secure horse that's secure in itself, they don't check you very often at all. The younger horses will do it, and nervous horses will do it. We're going to have a look at her now. Good girl. Give her a rub. Yeah, it's a good girl. It's very windy too. It's starting to get very windy. We're meant to have a big windstorm today at some point, so that's going to heighten her as well. Now, something else I would like to do is I'd like to get her to go around me with the rope being behind me without panicking. So I'm going to ask her to walk around. So I'll move her out a little. There we go. Ask her to go around. I'm going to follow her around, like so. I want her to get comfortable with that rope being where her bum is at all times. See how that rope is alongside her bottom. No matter no matter how much she goes round, it's still there. Wait for her to stop. She stops. We remove the rope again. She licks and chews. We ask her to come forward. And she's comfortable again within reason. I don't think this horse ever feels fully comfortable about anything unless she's eating her food. That's the only time that she's distracted enough. She's at high anxiety. A lot of people just don't understand this type of a horse. They write them off as they're useless, but they are totally not. They're actually one of the best horses you'll get if you're willing to spend the time with them. And you can see she did very well doing that. Now we're going to ask the other direction. And ask her to go around this way. And I'm going to keep that at the back of her. Good girl. Come on, keep moving. She's trying to stop a bit too quick. She wants to stop early. I want to see that she's okay. Good. Walk on. And stand. And I'm going to ask the other side again. See if there's any difference here. So I'm asking for her to come this direction. She wants to go that way. She doesn't want to go this way. We're going to ask her to turn. Good girl. There we go. Move on, walk on. We're going to get her to disengage that back leg as we turn in. It's very hard for you to see. I'll move back a little. And disengage that back leg. Softly. Softly. Good. Good job. And disengage that back end. If we can. Turning. Good girl. Lovely. Beautiful job. She's doing very well. Now I'm going to start putting a bit of pressure on her. While we're swinging the rope around. She says, oh. Now remembering, I'm very used to my horses who are not afraid of a rope swinging. So I want her to stay in the moment. Now watch what I do when I ask her to move on. Walk on. Walk on. I'm going to ask her to walk towards the swinging rope. Good girl. And ask her to go around while I'm swinging the rope. Ooh. There is a garbage truck here. Let's see if she has a good reaction to this. Let her stand there and think about it for a moment. I want her to think about this when I'm not in her space. I want her to just take it in and just wait for that release. She's holding a lot of tension right now, and she's not breathing the way she should be. She's worrying about everything. There's a lot going on. Now she's relaxing. There we go. There we get the lick and chew. Now I'm going to do some wiggles on the ground. This is very strange. She's not used to this, nor has anybody probably done any work with her in this way. A lot of people think that breaking a horse in is all about throwing on a saddle and a bridle. It's got nothing to do with throwing on a saddle and bridle. That's a very final process you do. The majority of the process is groundwork, so that by the time you get to the point where you put a saddle and a bridle on, the horse isn't ruined. The horse has an understanding of how to work with you, not against you. Good girl. She's staying in that point. And ask her to walk on. Walk on. And she's going to walk while I'm doing it. Good girl. Walk on. Get her to move while I'm doing it. She's walking lovely. Now what I taught her earlier was if she wants to stop, she needs to stand still and everything will stop. So what I want her to do is not freak out about this. And then we'll stand. And I want her to stand without moving again. And you can see I'm doing the exact same motion, but she's not moving because I've asked her to stand. How did I ask her? My energy, the way that I'm presenting, my body, my core. So basically, if I want her to move, I up my energy. If I want her to settle, I settle my energy. Now I should be able to do that, and she should be more comfortable now. Her ears are going to come more forward. And she says, I'm thinking about it, but it's not scaring the shit out of me. There are other factors everywhere, so don't just think about this. If she loses attention and starts thinking about something else that's happening, maybe a rabbit or something will run past, this will all go out the window very quickly. This is why we do so much training, to try to get them to calm themselves. Now that's all well and good on that side. Let's try this side and see if she panics. I've got a dog running around there. She's going to panic a little about this side, so we're going to ask her to walk on. Ask her to walk around. Good girl. This side she's a little less happy about. You want her to just walk in a moment. Walk on. Good girl. And see, this is the thing. I want her to maneuver. She's focusing on the rope, not on me. I want her to focus on me. Once she focuses on me, good girl. Then she can come in. I'm going to bring her to a halt in just a second. When I get her around here, I'm going to ask her to stop. And there. Good girl. She did a nice lick and chew right when I was about to ask her, which is really good. She's telling me, I get it. I understand it. She's not one that likes her head being touched, and this is another thing we're going to have to get her used to. The ear touches and things like that, because some horses are going to... Papa, you are giving her bad vibes. Papa, go home. I'm going to ask the dog to go home. And I'm going to leave her here for a moment while I go and put the dog away, because the dog is a bit of a distraction for right now. Whilst the dog is not causing a massive problem, I want her focused more on me. So till she gets a bit more used to focusing on me and the situation in hand, I'll try and remove as many obstacles as I can. That way her confidence will build, and then I can introduce the dogs another time. They just needed a bit of a play. Actually, the dog's gone off and doing its own thing, so that's okay. I just don't want the dog on her hind end while I'm trying to work with her. Not a good idea. Good girl. Now I'm going to do some work where the rope is going to be getting a bit more vigorous. I want her to just stand in a moment. Sidi, go home. Go home. Go home. Sudi, go home. Silly old puppy. Being an idiot. Alright, hang on. I'm going to leave her right here. I'm going to just pop this on the ground. She probably won't move. She'll probably stay right there. Stay there, good girl. Stay there, good girl. If she does move, she may freak out because of the rope, but I want the pups away. In your hand. Papa. In your hand. Papa. So she didn't go far, she stayed just right here. I'm in love, good girl. And her recoil response is beautiful. Seriously, really good. So I'm going to do some movements with the rope. Now she's probably going to feel a bit uncomfortable. We're going to do this. Get her used to this. Now, why up there and why like that? Think about children. What do children do? They come up, they grab the horse's neck, they want to touch. She's going to be anywhere near a child later on. She's going to have to be used to a child touching her. Trying to pat her. Oh, good girl. And it just goes to show with a horse like this, sometimes you can work and work and work at it and it will never change. I can't guarantee she'll change for the better a lot, but I think she already has a better understanding of what I'm trying to do. She's more happy for me to touch with the rope, more happy to wait in that moment and stand. It's alright, if she wants to move, she can move. We're going to just keep doing this until she stands. When she decides that it's comfortable, she'll stand. When she lets me pat like this, it's not really a pat, it's more of a up and stroke, up and stroke. Yesterday we worked on the side rope, going over. She's not too bad about that because we worked on it yesterday. So if you remember yesterday we did all this. Got a longer rope this time so there's a bit more room to manoeuvre. It's going to go up and over, it's going to slide, it's going to move, it's going to do things different to what she's used to. It's going to be gentle, but it is going to still be a new experience for her as far as having things going up and over, with an adult person being in her presence. See, to her, I'm a very big creature. I'm a lot bigger than the little girl that was working with her. Let her walk around. She can walk around. She can do... Let's get her comfortable. Just doing that nudge to me. That's okay. The nudge is basically telling me I'm a little uncomfortable with this. There we go. Now we've got two leaves. Two sides at once. What happens when we put reins on? We have two sides flapping around at once. Good girl. I want her to back out of my space. I'm going to back her up. Back her up. She's too close. I want her to just settle. I'm going to do a swing. There we go. She caught it on her nose. That's okay. Doesn't hurt. The only thing that's hurt is she's fragile in the mind. That's all it is. And we're going to work on that. That was good. We'll do some practice at this. Good girl. Asking her to come forward, and I'm asking her to whoa. Good girl. And we're going to go that way. Now I want her to get used to the hands over the hedge motion. Hands over the hedge. It's okay. You're all right. Hands over the hedge. You're all right. You just got to watch that she doesn't get herself tangled on the ground. We might make this a little bit shorter and do that motion with this again. You don't want to be mucking around continuously, being too overprotective of her, because she has to understand at some point she's going to come across people who don't have patience. And when she does, she's got to understand that this is all okay. See? This is all fine. It's all good. She hasn't been eaten up yet by a big good monster, have you? She's fine coming off that side, so let's see what she does coming over this side. Let's see how she handles that. She's going on to the offside. She's better on that side. I'd like her to move around so you can see her reaction on this side. Good girl. What about coming off this side? How are we going to do coming off? Ready? Yeah. There we go. That was pretty good. I remember when Ellie first came here, and Ellie was terrified of me doing that. Now you can throw anything around Miss Ellie, and she's perfectly fine. I have to keep remembering these kinds of things, it feels like it takes forever, but really one day at some point it just clicks with them and they understand that it's okay. They might feel a bit uncomfortable, but they're all right in the discomfort. And it's okay to be uncomfortable until you get used to something. There's nothing wrong with a horse being uncomfortable until it gets used to something. It's actually very normal. Good girl. She was very careful then with that camera. She was very careful not to bother the camera. Good girl. You're very nice. Yeah, let's let her relax for a moment. And we're going to go back to what we started with, which is her accepting the rope around the neck. Starting to lose her patience with me a little. So she's getting a bit impatient, funnily enough. But anxiety does have that trait. Sometimes with anxiety comes a lack of patience. You want to hurry things up so you feel better quickly. That is a very understandable thing. Now, I did something with her the other day. Let's see if she remembers how that works. I want her to stand for me. You're all right. Come on. I'm going to hold her for a second while I work this way. Good girl. You're all right. Good girl. She's all right. It's okay. And she's very, very upset about that rope there. She says, I don't know about that. What I want her to do is calm herself down, because what we don't want is her freaking herself out. So we're going to undo that. She may not be ready for that. Let's treading on the rope, so I'm going to pull on the foot. Okay, that might have been a bit premature, but the other day we did do it, and she was fine with it. This was the very first day we got here I did it. It's one of the things I teach them first, just to yield their hind, help them yield their hinds from a distance. But this is why she's got to get used to that rope going over. Yeah. That's all right. What's she going to do with that? What's she going to do with that? She says, I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to ask her to come forward. Come on. Walk forwards. So she doesn't have the way of feeling the pressure to pull her forward. Whoa. What was that? She's just given that release snort there because she's holding that tension in. That's all right. Very good at dropping. This is how I know she's going to be a decent horse as far as pressure, working on and off pressure goes. Just wish I had a better halter. This one is really not the best for the job. I will have to go into town at some point next week and get a new one. But we did spend all our money in acquiring her, so I'll have to wait until I can afford such things. So we're going to practice again. She doesn't have to get it perfect. She just has to tolerate. Good girl. Good job. That's a nice lick and chew straight after. There we go. Doesn't like it. That's okay. I don't like having to do the cleaning. I used to like it years ago, but after several years of it, I hated it. That's halfway across her face there, but that's okay. Let it sit in the spot where it's a bit uncomfortable. That's all right. Much better at understanding that in this moment she's okay. Good job. Always what we do on one side, we always do on the other. She's better on the other side. Now, is she better because she can't see on the other side very well? Or is she better because she just prefers the other side? This is the thing. I've got to figure this out. I can't see anything that would indicate any kind of actual blindness in her eye, but sometimes it's not a physical thing that you can pick. Sometimes it can be. All right. You don't want her to get caught on that side. So we want her to just relax with that. So I'm going to help her a little with this. And I'm going to help her simply by holding here just enough so she gets back to used to having this over the side happening again. We go back to the very basic. So I can tell she's a little uncomfortable with all this. So we're just going to work that. It's all right. It's okay. Good girl. She's trying very hard. And we're doing little baby steps. She keeps moving, and that's okay. I'm going to let her move. I'm going to stay where I am. She can move all the time she wants. It's okay. Good girl. I want her to just learn to... Now, see, this head pushing thing is not going to be on. So we're going to stop that. She probably learnt that because she's probably was a bit stronger than the young girl that she was working with. Because to that young girl, she's like me working with Ellie. Go back to our moving our rope around. Toki, what you doing? We've got Toki over there being silly. He's not too far away. Good girl. Good job. Making a bit of noise there. It's getting her used to not only the going down, but the coming up off the ground. All sorts of things happen when you're out in the paddock. Birds fly up, things come up. I've observed her in a paddock situation. She's actually not so bad. She is nervous, but she's not bad in the paddock. She's had to live in one, so she's quite all right about it. It's around humans that she has the anxiety. Fair enough. If she's had a bad experience with people at some point. It doesn't have to be recent. It can be very, very long time ago. She'll hold it. Some horses just hold their bad experiences forever and they can't ever get over it. Depends on what it is. It could be something so simple as somebody tied her up and scared the shit out of her and she pulled a muscle when she was tied up. And that's ruined her perception of being able to be worked with. Or other horses, they can get injured over and over again, several different ways, and think nothing of it. It's all about the mental capacity of the horse. This is why we try to be as slow and gentle as we can. I want her to yield this leg for me. This is the leg she has a hard time yielding. I'd like her to yield it for me. Good girl, that's lovely. And that is beautiful. Very nice. So why did I suddenly pick the leg up? Because we're trying to do different things. So when she's mastered something, even slightly, the reward is to change what we're doing. We don't want to overload her with the one thing. And simple things like checking and seeing, it's okay. I want her to put her head down. I don't want her to put her shoulder over the top of me like that. I want her to keep her head down. Good girl. No, it's down. Good girl. So that whenever I'm doing her leg, it is awfully windy, starting to get very windy. So she may be on tender hooks today. Horses do tend to get a little funny when the wind is starting to become an issue. And she's far worse on this side today. Usually it's the other side. I'm going to put my hand there. I'm going to hold that. She can walk all she likes. Good girl. Good girl. I know. And I know why you're nudging me, and that's okay, but we're going to learn not to be nudging like this. Good girl. I don't want you to pick it up. Sometimes I just want you to put it. Just let me touch. I'm going to hold it. Don't want you to lie down, sweetheart. I just want you to let me give you. Get your legs in a good order. That's cool. Because if you're getting your feet done by a farrier, you're going to have to be patient with that. Now, a lot of people would say, hobble this horse and she'll be fine. Not a great idea. I would not put hobbles on this pony at all at this stage. Or probably at all. Much better with this leg. Much nicer. Now I want her to not be forceful when she's putting her foot down. She's shooting out like that, almost like a boxer. Ellie used to do that when I first started training her about getting her feet done. She would be boom, boom, literally kicking forwards as you're trying to release the hoof. What you don't want is that. You want her to be, you're all right. It's okay. Forget about it. Get her attention back to me. Get those feet moving. Good job. And the other side. Good job. Good girl. She's going to poop. She's very nervy today, but better than yesterday. She has done a good job. I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to quickly clean up this mess. Says, oh, hello, people. Get a bit of dust in front of your shoe. Doesn't get on you at all. Coat it in dust. It's like putting flour over batter. She wants to check it out. What am I doing with it? Remember yesterday we did work with this shovel yesterday. And you can see today she's far better with the shovel than she was yesterday. I'm going to take the lead rope off for a second. I'm going to work her with the shovel again, and we'll see if anyone can notice the improvement to yesterday's behaviour with the shovel. Ask her to walk with me. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. She's staying in her space. I even went behind her then. She's not running. Much better. You see now how much difference there is today from yesterday. Remember yesterday we weren't able to get this up close to her without an issue. Let's see how we do today. See how we go. She's not being touched or anything like that. She's just going to let this come into her comfort zone when she's ready. When she stops, when she stands still, good girl. And I don't expect it to be immediate. She can go round and round, we can go round. When she stands still, then we'll stop. And we're touching now. We're actually touching. Good job. Good job. That was much better than yesterday. Yesterday she was petrified of that coming anywhere near her neck. So we can see that she is making progress. So this is a good thing. Very, very easy to make progress just with a day or two of work. It's a big thing. I'm going to go this side. Now she's completely free to run off at any stage she wants to. You can see here she's giving me the I'm uncomfortable and I don't like this. And I'm saying, well, that's okay. We're still going to come around. When you stop moving, then we'll stop. That's what we're going to do. And she allows me to get back to her shoulder when this will stop. And then she'll understand. I might need to help her understand. There. There. There we go. Yeah. See if she'll come over. Come on. She's going to give me her face, which is very nice. She's still willing to work with me. Come on. So I'm going to come around. Her issue is going behind her shoulder. See, anything behind her shoulder means trouble to her. So her issue is her shoulder. Once you get there and you stick something there like this, she's fine. But it's getting to the shoulder and allowing her to sit in that discomfort there. And keeping it at the shoulder. Keeping it to where she can't see it. If she's freaked out there, that's okay. I'm going to let her go for a run now. She's going to let some energy out. Good girl. And come back in. Hello. Come on, love. Come on, love. And this is all without a halter today. So yesterday we did this with a halter. With a lead rope. Today we're doing it without a lead rope. So it's more up to her to be brave about it all. I can guide her and ask her to come back in. Come on. Come on. I'm going to walk across. I'm going to go across with this. to ask her to follow me now. I'm going to put the shovel down there. She's not quite brave enough yet, but she might get there fairly quickly. This is very, very good progress for one day. Second day of work. I want her to remember yesterday that she got brave and she walked over the top. I'm going to give her a little encouragement just by touching this and asking her to follow me. Come on. Good girl. I'm going to ask her again. And she's more than capable of going over on her own. Good girl. She says, where's that rope? There's the rope. You can't see what just happened. As soon as I picked the shovel up, she scooted off. That's okay. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm just going to head over her direction. Let her go. Shovel's all right. Good girl. I'm going to grab the red leg rope. And she's going to follow me. She's following me nicely, actually. She's not running from it. She's very brave. Very brave. Chuck it on the ground. I'm going to give her some help by adding the lead rope, just to encourage a little bit more of her confidence around this object again. Back to this again. Great job. Now I'm just going to pick it up while I'm not facing her. And we're going to try again and see how she goes. When she's got the lead rope on and she knows it's work time. See how she goes. Remember how we did this yesterday? We went around it. We got her to make it her shoulder going around. Her to go past that, see? This gives her the confidence. Okay, so put that in the middle. She comes around it. It still lands in front of her when she finishes, but as she's going around, it goes around all areas of her. So her bum has to pass around it. Her legs have to pass around it. She has to be right where it is. So it's kind of like an optical illusion. She has to go right round the whole thing. That means at all times, all parts of her body are next to this shovel. I'm going to stand her there. I accidentally had to let that go for a second. We're going to bring her back up. We're going to do the other side. Go the other direction. So she's round we go. Round we go. And she's got to go past it. Her bum's got to go past it. She's got to... Now I'm lifting it up. She says, oh, it's a bit scarier. All right. I don't want to break her up. I just want her to slow down. Slow down. Good girl. Slow the energy. I'm going to stand the shovel. Then I'll wait for her to decide to wait. Good girl. She says, okay, it's not so scary. So again, she's releasing a snort again. Here she goes. Much nicer about it this side. Still a bit wary when it's not on the ground. I'm going to start doing some movement while she goes around. She's a bit scared. That's okay. I'm not even pulling very hard on this. She's not pulling too far away. She's staying with her pressure on. Good girl. Great job. Oh, would you like to have a smell? Now I'm going to lift it up. Here. I'm going to ask her to go around. It's a big scary object like this. She's quite close. Good girl. In return. You go this side. Always keeping in mind that to her this is very frightening. I'm not scared of it, but she is. Giving her some empathy there. Just going to make it so that she can get comfy. Put it back down. A lot less scary now when it's on the ground, isn't it? That's right. Lift it back up. This time we're going to go higher. I'd like her to go round. And the reason I'm putting it higher is because for her, I'm tall. Good girl. She handled that nicely. Go this side. She's getting very close. She'd rather keep it very close to her than further out. And see, she says, oh. She's actually being very game there. I'm allowing her to move further back if she wants to. But she's deciding to stay close. She's actually going to come up and give it a smell. Doesn't smell the greatest, does it? Doesn't smell the best. But this is the kind of thing she's got to get used to. A good thing I can do with her is when I'm cleaning up, I can have her on a lead rope and have her with me while I'm cleaning. Or just simply doing the dragging. All these things will work eventually. Swing it around. Woo! There we go. At this side. Both hands. Woo! See, she's starting to be curious about it. She's not so scared of it now. She's more curious. She says, oh, you're challenging me. And I'm telling you, she's got some dominance in her. She's brave. When you bring that out, she's brave. That lovely lick and chew. I guarantee you, in a few weeks, this shovel will be nothing to her. She won't care about it. If she still does, then we know there's probably a neurological problem there. Or the deep-seated fear is very deep-seated. She's going to have a smell. And we're going to use it too. Very gently. I'm going to come around here. You're all right. Look at the fear there. She's a bit scared. But it's okay. I'm not going to scare you. We're just going to have a look. This is where I want it to be her that's not afraid. Good girl. I want her to drop her head down. And I want her to follow this up from the ground. From the ground. When she follows it up from the ground, it's less scary. Why? Because she can see it properly. She knows what's coming. Get her to go down. She has a sniff. Then we can come up. And she says, oh, you're not so scary, see? And the acceptance is better when something's from the ground. Their feet are on the ground. They are planted on the ground. Anything that comes from up in the sky is a very strange thing. Or it's a bird, whichever. You see now? Get her to think about it on the ground. So I ask her to drop down to the ground. I have very strange methods, I know, but believe me, I'm thinking like a horse would think. If I was the creature that always had my head on the ground, I'd like to discover what it was while I had my head on the ground, rather than if my head is up in the sky. Then I can have a nice moment like this, where it's not scaring me to have this thing touch me. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm not jumping around and jittery. Now I can come this side. Yeah, because we now know what it is. And now I can go this side. And I'm going to keep moving towards her. I just want her to stay in this as long as she can. And I'm going to ask her to drop her head while that's happening. Drop your head while this is happening. Good girl. You can see it's touching all around. And we're just going to go to the neck. We're going to drop. We want her to allow that drop. Good girl. There we go. And when she drops, I release that tension from her. So I want to show you something that I do with my horses. The head neck drop is a sign of not only submission but relaxation. And you can see when I drop it down, look how relaxed she is. So we work at this with my horses. This is what I do. And see how calm she became. So she's going to learn to understand that when I ask for a head drop, it relaxes and calms her. And she's now frightened again. That's okay. We're going to go back to the ground for her to see. On the ground. Then we can come up. Then we can come across. There we go. She can't see what I'm doing. We're going to go back to the ground. Back to the ground. Good girl. There we go. We allowed it all on that side, so let's see if we will allow this. There we are. There we go. This side's a little scary now. You're all right. You're all right. You're okay. Yeah. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's not so bad. Not so bad. Go back. Back to the ground. Back to the ground. Have a look. Good girl. And then we come up into the neck. There we go. Now she says, I see. I see. It's all about the neck. It's all about the rubbing of the neck. Remembering she does not like me on this side. So I'm going to rub her over there and on the wither. Good girl. Oh, look at that. That's very good. She's allowing that nicely. Bring her back here. We're going to ask her to drop her head and relax while we are doing this. Drop our head and relax. Good girl. And watch that ear and that face. Now, see the relaxation just happened just then? And the lick and chew. She did very well. Now she's coming right up. She says, oh, this thing's not so scary. Now let's see how we go. If we try again. From straight in the air. Not a problem there. And we're going to drop and we're going to relax and enjoy. Oh, this is lovely. This is lovely. She says, I don't mind this at all. This isn't too bad. There. How's that? Crazy stuff, but works a bloody treat. This side is the one we want really to practice with. We really want her to be okay. And this time, she's fine on this side. And we're going to drop and relax. And you see the difference. Once she's learned that she can put her head down while this is happening, and it's going to be okay, like so, she's more than happy to be more relaxed around this thing. Even if I am to throw it on the ground like that, pick it up, hold it up in the air, and ask her to come closer. She's going to come right up to it while it's in the air now. And we're going to drop her head while she's there. It's above her head. And she's okay. So if you want the secret to a horse that you can work with, it's all in the mind and calming the mind. The biggest way a horse calms its mind is when it's got its head on the ground and it's patiently, quietly eating its food. This is where people do not think about this. Watch a horse in the paddock grazing. It's nice and calm. It might be alert, but it's calm while it's eating. If it's alert, it'll stop eating straight away and it'll lift its head. So whenever we have our head down, it causes those endorphins in the brain to just relax the horse down. There are a couple other things that I do teach my horses. And let me tell you, I'm not saying it's a cure for every single horse, but it can be a tool to help. You may try different things on different days, depending on the weather, depending on this and that. One thing I am practicing with her is this release in the mouth. She doesn't like it, but it does work on her in the mouth. There we go. Oh, good girl. Good job. And there'll be no way we can do things with her mouth if we don't relax her when we're using it. There we are. Oh, look at that. There, that's nice and relaxing. There. And she'll have a release again with that. And she'll yawn in a second. You pop her head down, she'll have a nice yawn. She says so. Get her to yawn. Good girl. And she's a little funny about having people touch her mouth, but that's okay. There we go. There's the big open lips. There we go. And she's probably never had that done before. So that's a new thing to her. That's a good thing that she's accepting. She's doing her nice licks and chews. So she's doing very well. Let's try again. I'm just going to pick this up like it's nothing. She says, oh, there's that damn thing again. There's that damn shovel again. You can ask it bend and drop and smell. Back up and straight to the neck. Vigorously going to rub her this time. And you can see I'm moving this in a very vigorous way. I'm going to go this side. Not even going to have to go to the ground this time. You can read her like a book. She's very easy to read. She's a very honest horse, and it's very easy to pick up what she's going to tolerate and what she's not. So far, I've got about 95% accuracy in what I'm predicting with her. And that's a really lovely way to be. Look at this. She couldn't care less right now. She's like, oh, this isn't giving me any problem whatsoever. A minute ago, that was terrifying to her, and it was the end of the damn world. Even throw on the ground. She's just like, well, let's walk over. It's nothing, is it? She says, that's nothing. Nothing at all. Her confidence in her own ability to read a situation is becoming much better. You can see there, I'm even able to go right up. And she's fine about that. Try this side now. And she's fine about it starting up there. And she's not having any issue whatsoever. It's moving all around her. We're even going to go over the top. This is the one thing that I didn't think I'd get to today. We're going to let her smell, and we're going to go up and over the top. And then we're going to give it a scratch. Oh, make it a nice thing to play with. Get back down to the ground. Let's ground ourselves again. Ground ourselves again. Good. Up. Even to a point where we can gently do our face. We can even go up over the pole and see. She's even allowing that over her pole now. Let's relax. Lovely. I love that this horse will listen and understands what it is I'm asking of her, and is very willing to not only put herself in a position that is scary, but to relax herself as well. She's actually far better at anxiety than I am. She recovers really quickly. Now, just a moment. Just wait there for me. Chocolate. Now there's another thing that I have on one hand all the time. It's a water bottle, and it's something that I use every day. My horses are scared of it. Her, she's like, well, it's in your hand. I trust you. Trust you. I'm going to open it. Let her have a smell. What is it? She's better at it than Zara. My horse Zara is petrified of water bottles. I have no idea why. I used to ride her for days on end with water bottles hanging everywhere. But lately, water bottle is an enemy. They change their mind about things all the time. By the way, thanks guys for watching and listening in. Now we're going to give her a nice bit of nice time. We're going to do some grooming. She has the most beautiful mane, most beautiful colour mane, most beautiful, easy to care for mane. She does enjoy being groomed at the mane. I'd like to get her to a point where she's fine at being groomed at the tail. Oh, the cat's over here. There's the cat. Do you see the cat? Cat's all good. You're not worried about him, are you? Now I'm going to just give her a bit of a... One thing that I do like to do with my horses also that encourages trust in you is when we cover an eye. See that release immediately as soon as I covered that eye? And I get to where I can cover both eyes. And we'll see how she goes with trusting me. It's a trust exercise. It's also a massage, but she's fine about it. She's like, oh, I'm getting spoiled at this place. Good girl. We want to touch the ear, and she's okay with the ears. She's not too bad. That's nice. She's allowed to touch the ear. A lot of horses don't like their ears being touched, and that's okay. We want her to be able to touch her. We want to be able to touch her ears simply so that we can do things with her. If we need to put eardrops in, we need to get a burr out of there, or a bug that might be lodged in her ear, a tick or something like that, which often happens. She's also fine with being touched on the chest, which is good. A lot of ponies are funny about being touched in the chest area. She wasn't initially all right about it, but she is now with me. I'd say this little girl that was with her did quite a bit of work with her. Once she trusts you, she's very good. Just let her stand there for a moment. When she's not expecting it, I'm going to bump that lead and I'm going to throw this over here. You see the difference to what was earlier when we began. She's still a little funny about it, but she's not. She thinks it means walk. I don't mean walk. What I want her to do is stand still. I'm not asking her to move. I'm asking her to stand still. All right. You don't have to walk. You're okay. You want to slow everything down. You want her to be slow. There we go. Slow it all down. Remember what I say about popping that head down and getting her to relax in that moment. As much as she feels like it's not relaxation, she will learn to relax if she has her head down. There we go. You can too. And I'll leave that rope over there. Let's see what she does. Now I did leave her this morning at breakfast with this rope on for about 45 minutes while I was just observing from distance. Oh, that's a nice release there. That lovely, beautiful kick back there. Very nice. Oh, there we go. Big yawn. Relaxing majorly with the rope over our back. Very nice. What happens when we bring something scary back in again? Are we going to be all right around this one? Going to be okay? You all right with this one? We are. We're very good. Oh, she says, oh, as long as you're giving me a massage, I'm good. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to worry. When she's doing the check, she's checking me. checking what I'm up to. She's not fully trusting yet. She's giving me trust though. She is starting to begin to trust things. I'm able to move it around to there. She's okay with that. You can even get fairly close. Let's have a look at the ball. What's the ball doing? What's this terrible shaped ball doing? Not much of a ball, is it? She doesn't like the plastic feeling. A lot of horses don't. They get a bit funny about the plastic ball. I'm going to ask her to come over. I'm going to be less careful with her now. We're just going to get her to come around the ball and have a look at it. Drop down. Have a look. Not that interested. Ball's going to come towards it. We're going to see how she goes with that. There you go. It's okay. Not so scary, is it? We did a little bit of work with the ball on the very first day we were here. She's doing very well about the ball. Good girl. She's not silly, she's quite smart. She's understanding quite well what I'm doing. What I want her to do is learn to stand in the moment. Then we won't get a bolting horse later down the track. Good girl. Come a little closer and have a look. Let her think about it. Okay, now we get the lick and chew. Beautiful. Good job. Notice now she's also more happy for me to come up and touch her and go towards her back. That is a good thing. I was having a lot of trouble with getting to touch her near her rump. They did say to me she's pretty hard to work with on the rear end. But like I said, you know, time and patience and these things can be overcome fairly easily if you know how to do it with the horse, if you know how to calm the horse down. Here we go. I did notice that the young lady who was doing her avoided her back end and probably has a good reason for doing so. I'm wary of her and she gives me good vibes, but at the back end and the rear end I notice that she gets very nervy. Her instinct, if another horse is bothering her at the rear end, is to kick. So she's probably a bit of a kicker. But every day we just move our hands a little further. There we go. And if we remind her and let her know that when we're working at the front, we're not hurting. It's not about hurting, it's about just lifting and touching, getting good feelings, good massage feelings, good vibes. I'm not going to rush everything. Go slow. Good girl, I know. And she's a little bit like she's wanting to nip there, so we're going to just take a bit of time now. Lift that one up, good. The more that we touch these feet, the more that we're around these feet, the better she's going to be. And we've got a cat that's coming here. Now the cat is coming out of nowhere. If she catches that cat in her eye, she may freak out. Maybe not. Hey Simba. Hey baby. Not worried about the cat. You can see the cat's just over here. He's wandering off. He says, hi, everybody. I'm just going to do some basic stuff, just walking. One thing I would like to do with her, which I'm going to go and grab now, are my cones. I want to work with her with my cones and see how we go. I'm going to leave her here. She may try and follow me. Stay there, Bubby. I will teach her how to stay later on. And this is confidence building for both her and me, because I have to be moving around with her in different movements that I'm not used to. Might not necessarily be. Still, I'm going to move this back out of the heat. We've got 4 there. We'll put another 1 here. 1 there. Just having a sniff. What's this stuff for? What am I supposed to do with this? And we're going to do some work here. I'll move all this stuff out the way. Shovel can retire for the day. She did well with that. We'll test it tomorrow and see how she does. You can go here. That's a big scary bag. We'll come down this end. And let's do some work. Silly little stuff like this gets your confidence with the horse working in a closer proximity working. That's wonders for her because it gets her to move her hind end and to release that tension in the hind. Put some more work into the back end. This is where she's going to have most of the tolerance if she's going to ever become anything as far as a human workhorse. Oops. She says, oh, I scared myself. She actually didn't even freak out about that. That's fine. So she's maybe done things like this before. Set here. Back around. Lovely, lovely. Girl, I'm going to take her off the lead now. And ask her to follow me and hook on with this and see how we go. Oh, she's a good little liberty pony. right now. Let's see if she'll hook back on. Come on, hook on. I'll ask her again. Beautiful work. Lovely work. Go round here. Round here. Round there. Round there. Round here. Beautiful. I'm going to take off the halter and see if she wants to keep going. She seems to enjoy work, I can tell you now. She seems to really enjoy the attention she gets and also the physical aspect of the work. She's not having a problem with following. She says, maybe I've had enough now. Come on. Nope, she's realised work is over. So once you take that halter off, for her, work is over. There she is. She says, I'm done. And that's really good that she recognises those things. But let's see how she goes if we ask her to come back. After our release, because I will have to walk her back home anyway. Back across the paddock. She's such a nice little pony, she really is. Very lovely. I thought she was a horse coming from someone that I knew, but it's not. She's definitely not from Fiona. Fiona's got beautiful horses that have beautiful, lovely natures. They're miniature horses. They're usually 8 to 10 hands maximum, usually around 8 to 9 hands. And she has no problem straight away working again. Rock. There we go. So that's a nice little exercise to do with her and practice with her. I'll leave these out because I'll do some work with Toki a bit later. I'm liking this. I'm going to get one more thing and we're going to try a tarp today. Well, it's not a tarp, it's a rug. Now yesterday she was petrified of the rug. I did work with her with the rug later on in the day and she was absolutely petrified of the rug for probably the first 10 minutes or so. So I want to see whether or not she's good with the rug today. I'm going to leave that there. She can wander around in the cones and do what she likes. So I'm just going to show you what happens with the, when I've got her, she's over here picking through the, see that? Straight away. Bit of noise. This is very good desensitization for her. Yesterday she was petrified when I threw the rug on the ground. She took off like a rocket. Wasn't a happy camper at all. Let's see how we go this morning. See if she's remembered. She's willing to walk straight over the top. And she is. She's remembered. Good girl. This is a big thing for me. Yesterday she would not go near this thing at all. Dark colours, horses have no depth perception. So a dark colour like that is very difficult for them to determine if it's this deep or if it's that deep. And I'll get her to stand in the middle on it, even though it could be uncomfortable. There we go. Great job. Good girl. Very good. Okay, you've done well. Now I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to pop it on the ground this way so we can see the stripes and things. An old rug, it doesn't work anymore. I use it for training, getting horses for cart ready with things like this, because when they're on the road, all sorts of things happen. There's paint on the road, there's different things. I will try her in cart. I don't know how good she'll be, but I don't think she'll be a cart horse, to be honest. But you never know. Maybe she'll surprise me. She's surprising me today with this. She's had no angst about this whatsoever. And I'm even going to do something that I didn't do very much yesterday with. Oh, she got herself tangled a little there. And Toppy was doing some stupid stuff. So we're going to get her onto here. There we go. I want her to stand right there, and I'm going to flap. You're all right. And look at that. She's fine to stand in that moment. Oh, good girl. We didn't do this yesterday, so this is really nice. She's trusting this whole process. I did swing it around quite a bit yesterday though, but I didn't do it while she was there. I want her to walk into me while I'm moving this around. I want her to let me touch with this. I'm going to bring her over. She says, I remember this. Happened yesterday. We're going to touch, and we're just going to relax ourselves. Good girl. There we go. As she relaxes, we remove. Go to the other side. The big old blowing thing in a windy day, very windy, crazy windy weather. Oh, she's much better today at this than she was yesterday. Yesterday, this was all up in the air, terrified, frightened. Today, she's like, I remember. She really is just a horse that needs a hell of a lot of desensitization. She's actually very good. You can see that face that she's pulling there. She's quite worried. She says, I don't like it on that side. Good girl. Very nice. I'm going to pop it back down on the ground. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to ask her to walk over. Hopefully she'll do it on her own accord, without too much drama. I'll just give her a little walk. Very safe, very easy to do. Good girl. And she's backing up there, back. All the while remembering, and I keep forgetting to do this, we need to remember to back the horse as well as go forwards, because we may need situations where we need her to back up. So being able to back up confidently and easily is very important. Good girl. Great job. I'm going to stand right here and bring this up. You're all right. I'm going to let her feel it from the ground. I'm going to ask her to drop her head while she's feeling that. Drop your head. Good girl. Oh, you see, she's a little concerned, but it's not that bad. Just walk a step back in herself. There's a strap. She may have had rugs on her at some point. Good girl, it's okay. Just because it's moving, it's okay, you're all right. You're okay. She says, well, what are you doing? What's it doing? she's doing very well. This is not an easy thing. My horses would be panicking if I haven't done this for a while with them. Ellie's probably the best one at being strong in these situations. Toki's actually pretty good. This mare's excellent. Good girl. She can walk back at this point. See how loose that lead is? She's not being held there. She's just listening and watching. She says, I don't think it's so bad. I want her to just relax her head a bit and drop. There we go. Lick and chew. Good girl. You can see that that's a big issue for a horse, is walking over things like this. So the fact that she's mastered this so quickly tells me either she's had some work done previously and she's remembering it's not so bad, or she's just really good at listening. I'm going to ask her to walk towards when I'm doing this. Take a step towards it, building some confidence in her own decisions. There she is. And look at that. She's even popped her head down at a vulnerable point to see what that's doing. What's it doing? Good girl. You did very well. We'll do the eye. The eye. Yeah, good girl. Let's wait for that lick and chew again. It'll be in a moment. She's very calm about things. And let's see if she'll allow me to come and pat her while she's in that situation, which is a bit frightening. She's more than happy for me to touch. And that's the furthest I've gotten down her backside the entire time. So that's beautiful. Good girl. She's an excellent confidence building horse because her nervousness is encouraging when you can get to her to a horse like this is a powerful animal. A powerful animal that is frightened of something, and then when you see it, just submit to being able to understand that in the moment it's okay. It's encouraging for me that if she can do this, I can do it as well. This is why it is so fabulous when people work with these kinds of horses with anxious people, because it really does reflect you. It's like looking in a mirror. You can see yourself. I see myself in this girl majorly. And it's actually scary how much I'm like her with my flight or fight. I've done things a million times and I know what to do, but I have that fear. I've got to work at myself, learning how to accept the situations and understand that, you know, it's all up here. 99% of the time there isn't a threat. I'm perceiving a threat that's not there, and there's a reason for it, but I'm in overdrive and I don't need to be. I need to take a bit of time and settle, get myself back into a grounding position. And she's allowed to move back if she wants, that's fine, but I'd also like her to bring herself close. I'm asking her very nicely and she's listening. Let's see if she'll move up while I'm doing that. It's a bit uncomfortable. So it's a bit uncomfortable, Mum. I'm really not her mum, of course, yet, but I might become some kind of thing to her at some point. At least a good leader for her. And she says, oh, that's very nice. Very good pony. Nice and relaxed. There we go. And she's such a comfortable horse when she's like this. When she's not all heightened, the feeling you get from her is beautiful. She's extremely, she's got a lovely nature, just beautiful. It's when she's heightened that she's more likely to, make you feel uncomfortable because you're not quite sure what she's going to actually do. Avoiding it now. That's okay, we can come back on. Oh, We are not silly, we are clever. We are clever. And again, I need to really remind myself, as much as I'd like to comfort her, I need to keep that distance between me and her so she's not going to be overly expectant of a person to make her. She's got to get comfortable in her own comfort zone, in her own space. I'm going to do this. She can see what I'm doing. I'm going to move this around. Lift it right up. I'm going to squish it around. Asking her to come in nearby. That's a bit different, isn't it? I like about her that she very much responds with a very gentle touch. You don't hardly have to touch her whatsoever. She'd be an excellent horse, bitless bridle. She'd be great. Just give her a bit of love there. Now some people, when they're going to teach a horse how to have something over their back, they'll go crazy and just throw something like this straight at a horse. Not a smart move with a horse like her at all. Probably not smart with any horse. We want to take things slowly every time. We want her to come into us and to follow the scary object. So she feels like the scary object in her, she has the ability to decide what happens. There she is. We also want her to back. 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 Yeah, good girl. She really doesn't like that situation. She's wanting to escape. That's okay. I'm going to ask her to pop her head down. Once again, we're going to go to the ground. And we're going to look at it. Nothing too scary. Then come back up. Come over this side. We're going to have a rub. It's very uncomfortable because I can tell now she's just not used to it. She's trying to twirl to see. That's fine. If she wants to see what's happening, that's okay. I don't mind her seeing. She's going to have a look. That's perfectly normal. But she's willing to follow this fight. She's willing to follow it. We're going to let her discover that herself and see if she has the confidence to go up there. She's confident enough to stand in its presence. What if I move you back there? There we go. Yeah, she says, okay. I might be able to work with this monstrous thing. I'm getting sleepy too. We're getting sleepy, aren't we? So we are getting sleepy. Let's get you to drop a little. Drop down. Yeah, good girl. Lovely. That's very good. And then she just I'm going to hopefully let her stand there while I go around and let's see if she does. I'd like her to stand still while I go around her. Stand still. Good girl. This is where you can do something like tie the horse up, or you could have somebody come in and help you with a situation like this where you want to go around the horse, but the horse keeps moving around. I'd prefer her to just allow me to slowly get around her, like that. I don't mind her sniffing and smelling. That's okay. But I am wary of her kick reaction. Good girl. So I'm going to ask her just to relax while I'm just patting like this. That's all we want to do, just pat. This is the side she really doesn't like coming up along. I'm going to go backwards into the camera there. It's all right, you're all right. Got a few things going down on the ground here. So she's realising here there's a bit of a thing here. I'd love to turn her into a pack horse before I put children on her. See how she goes, becoming a pack pony. Good girl. That's much better than earlier. That's much better. Yeah, that's really good. It's allowing me to come up around that edge, even to where I can touch the butt. That's really nice. I'd like her to stay in that moment right there. I'm going to try and sneak around. There we go. Good girl. Relaxing. Good girl. Just relaxing. Want to learn patience? Get a horse like this and you will become very patient. Or you'll go mad. One or the other. I want her to understand in that moment it's okay for me to move around. I don't want her to freak out. I just want her to stay there. I'm in a kick zone when I'm at this point. She could quickly barrel around and whack me one. So I've got to trust her just as much as she has to trust me. Keeping her with my elbow. She's learning how to relax in the situation. Good girl. If that head bobs up, or if those ears go back. I'd like her to drop a little. There we go. Once I step past the shoulder, we'll see what she does. Drop, drop, drop. Good. Good job. I'd like her to stand nice and still there. And you can't really see what I'm looking for doing, but I'm going to try to go, Toki, what's he doing? He's getting himself in trouble. Try to go past the shoulder and get to his and see there, she just had a reflex then, so she's a little funny about that. She's busy watching what he's doing. She's not paying attention to what I'm doing. And then suddenly when her attention's diverted back here, she's a little bit scared of it. She's very focused on the wrong thing. So it's so important to keep her focused on what I'm doing, not what he's doing. We don't want to distract her and then have her have a panic about it all. But I'm going to show you the difference between her and Mr. Toki. I'm going to bring him in and give you a look at the difference between a confident horse and a non-confident horse. Mind you, he has a little bit of, come on Tom, he can be a little bit freaked. You like that camera? You do? You like that camera? Very interested in it, hey? Just don't panic yourself and then run it down. her to have her lead rope on as much as I can get happening whilst I go and grab the boy. He's never been on a tarp for ages. I don't think I've even put him on one. I've done the girls, but I'll grab him and see. Oh no, he has been on tarps. Many times, yes. I'm just remembering. Every winter I do a tarp thing. He's a very good boy. So here's Mr. Chocky, the master of disaster, who's not scared of the John Deere lawnmower at all. Nor is he worried about things like rugs. You can see there, I just tossed one straight over his back. He couldn't care less. I'm going to bring him over here with the rug on. So we can watch and keep away from her for a minute. He's very confident. He'll try and play with it. He'll dig it. He'll do whatever he can to try and figure it all out. He's really confident with things. I love this horse. I got him completely wild. The only handling he had was being put on the back of a trailer truck and transported. And he was a right little bugger. He didn't want to listen. He didn't want to cooperate. But I spent 2 full days with him after he got here, just teaching him how to lead. And after that, I've been working with him. I worked with him when he was around 2 years of age to get him in the cart. He wasn't mature enough, so we left it. And he's just coming back into work now. He's doing a fabulous job at getting himself into work. Nothing phases him. He couldn't care less if you put this over his back while he's here. But when I met him, he was like her, petrified of absolutely everything. Only difference was he's a lot younger than her. He was only 10 months old when I got him. So, very young. But he was the one who was in with a lawnmower, a ride-on mower that was busted up, and he'd make an excellent little pack horse, to be honest. He'd be an excellent little riding horse for a kid. He's very calm. He doesn't carry on. He's got a great nature. He comes from a line of show horses. His mum and dad were apparently very heavily shown. His grandparents are like Easter show winners. So he comes from a breed of very quiet horses. His dad lives up the road. My friend owns his dad. His dad is wonderful. The only thing he's got as a vice is he likes to try and have a nip of people, as he thinks he's a stallion. As you can see here, this horse has no problems, no worries. He couldn't care less. If I tried that on that other little pony over there, she'd be freaking out. But I'm watching her at the moment. She's watching me do this with him, and she's not worried. He's fine if we go over the top of him. He couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. He's also not worried about anything coming at him on the ground. And this was all because we worked him into desensitization. He's got a lot of confidence. He likes to, one thing he will do to you, if he's anxious, he will tell you when it becomes if it's getting too much for him mentally, He will try to eat he'll try to put the lead rope in his mouth. He'll open his mouth up, he'll start nibbling at the lead rope. And then he'll try and take the lead rope and he'll try and walk away. That's what he does when he's freaking out. The hell? Do not tell me there's a goat on the roof. That will freak the horses out. One time I was actually riding Ellie and there was a goat on the roof. It was crazy. She didn't do anything. She was fine. I panicked like crazy. Ellie just looked up at the roof and was like, what? She didn't even panic at all. I was very impressed actually. But he's my little boy that I'm working with a lot lately. And he's one that I can do his feet. I can do anything with him. And he's just wonderful. He does enjoy his little releases. I'll give him a nice release. He loves this release. Yeah, that's a good one. Your big yawns. There we go. Oh, stretching. Good boy. So this is something I've been doing a lot with him. He's got some wolf teeth coming through right now. So they're going to have to be pulled by the dentist fairly soon. So the next time the dentist is out this way, I'll get him to come and do his teeth. But as far as quietness, well, you can't get much quieter than this boy. I was considering, after I get him into cart, I was considering possibly getting him a family. The original reasons I was getting him was the lady who owned all these horses had basically over 100 horses that she couldn't afford to feed anymore. So he was a rescue. I did pay for him. He cost me $350, but I rescued him and I rescued another little mini, which was a little buckskin mini. And both of them I got going in cart, and well, he's still a work in practice, but the other fella I got cart broken and saddle broken. He was a 4-year-old when I got him, so he was mature anyway. And what is it? What am I doing? Am I being a bit silly? She's not interested in coming over to him at all. She's just like, nah, I don't care about him. I don't care about it. You got some stuff in your eye. Let me get it out. Got a bit of gunk. He's like, why you got a rug on me in the middle of summer? Here she comes. Oh, she can see he's got a rug on. This is a good thing. She can teach him a lot. So if I move this back a bit, so you can see he wants to go over to her. But there she is in the background. She's watching everything that's going on. He's busy trying to get to her. I'm going to show her how it is for him. So she can see he has no reaction at all to this thing called a rug. She says, wow, that's interesting. I might even ask her to come a little closer. Just till she's about here. Because she can learn a lot from him. I don't want her to fight him right now. You can say hello, but I don't want there to be an no, see, she just pinned her ears in. She's giving him a warning there. We don't want him to get in trouble. I want her to see how he's fine and he couldn't care less about this going all over him. All around the back of his legs, all over the damn place. She says, I'm going to take off and get out of here. But for her to see that is not a bad thing. It's good for her to practice and learn from him. He is a good teacher for her. He will calm her down. Him being in these situations and being nice and calm, she can pony from him and learn from him. Now the thing that I want to teach her, I'm going to show you with him. It's a little... He knows how to do all this. Mind you, he was terrible at being able to go on a lunge line for a very long time. He was only any good inside the round yard. I now have him to where he'll do anything I ask out in the open without any drama. So I'm going to show you what I was trying to practice with her is getting all this sorted. And the reason, so that when I go around the bum like that, and this is very important if you're going to teach a horse anything really, but if you're if you're going to teach a horse about being in a cart, they've really got to have this practiced very well. And let's get it flicked over your butt. And so what you can't see is that's over his bum. I want him to release away from me with his pressure. So they're inclined to come towards us with pressure, but he is happy to go away. She's over in the background learning how to deal with the rope that she's got there. If she goes at him, I will move her back. Simply because she's got to learn, when I'm working with him, she must have respect. Good girl. Back it up. There we go. I want him to show her how to do it. He's very handy. He's a good boy. As soon as we get over his butt, give a little tug on this side, just a very tight, little slight tug, and he's lazy as anything, but he'll disengage and come back that way. See how calm he is compared to her. If I try that with her, she's going to be, oh my God, flipping out and freaking. Whereas with him, he's very much, now face me darling, come on. You know the ball, turn around, let's face, good boy. We'll get him to go this direction. The other way. Once he's done it a couple of times, he picks it up nicely. You don't have to put very much pressure at all on him, but he is trying to pay attention to her, so he's a little bit not listening. So I'm not being very fair to him right now, because although if you're working with a horse, you want it to be listening to you regardless. If you're going to go places where there's other horses and people or other things that distract the horse, he has to listen and learn. And the confidence that he has a lot of self-confidence. You can see how strong he is at staying in the moment, and he's not concerned or worried about anything. We can play with his feet. We can do all sorts of things. We can actually do anything with him, and he's not going to be doing anything nasty or anything naughty to us. He understands and has learnt from a very young age. He's been with nobody else who's taught him a darn thing. I'm the only one who's taught him anything. So, you know, this is the result with the training I do. This is the result I got. This is how I know it works. When I doubt myself and I think that I'm not doing a good job, I look at him. I look at the ponies that I've worked with. I look at the horse that I've broken in recently, and I have to say, no, it's a good method. The gentle approach is not bad. You can be firm, but you don't need to be an asshole. And he's way too tubby. He needs to lose some weight. So she's just watching everything. What I want to see is if she's uncomfortable when I'm doing this. And see, he used to be scared of the rope. He's a little funny right now. I don't know why. But because we've been working an awful lot, he thinks it's time to go for a walk. But I want him to stand in the moment. Good boy. But watch the confidence that he gets when we wheel him around. So I'm coming back to the front. I'm going to ask him. Come this way. Good boy. We can go over. We can go round. We can go right next to. You can do that. He's a little bit like, well, do you want me to move or not? Lately I've been asking him to work by using that method. But if I ask him to walk on, and then I do it, then he understands what I'm asking. And I ask him to stop. He's gone straight into me there, so that's not acceptable. You correct that. Good boy. And again, remembering, she's standing there. She's like, look at me. He's like, yeah, I'm looking. I'm like, okay, what way are we going to go now? So I'm at the front of him. I'm going to ask him to turn away from me and spin for me. See if he remembers which side the pressure's going on. So it goes this way. Come on, release your pressure. Good boy. Good lad. Good job. We're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to avoid her space. She's going to try and follow us. She says, well, I'll come around too. Well, I'll join in. She's going to join us. Look at that. She says, I'll join in too. And she's joining in. How lovely is that? Albeit that she's joining in, taking the shortcut, but she's still joining in. She says, well, where are you two going? I'd like to come with wherever you're going, I'd like to come too. He says, well, come on, follow me then. You can teach them a lot with another pony. She'll work out what she's got to do. She'll get her confidence back. She'll do very well. Good job. All right. I think that I'm going to leave it at that for today. It's been quite a long lesson, and she's sniffing at his butts right now, so she's having a bit of a smell. She's saying hi. Hi, mate. She best not go stupid though. You never know with mares. They can act all coy and calm, and then the next minute they're off their head, like humans. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a lovely day. Thank you for the people who've done a like on here. I appreciate it. Now see what he just did then? He's backing into her. He's giving her a warning and saying to her, I'm in charge. You might be taller, but I am the boss. She's very relaxed. So we'll leave it at this for today. I'll get her back down with Henry. And thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now. Can't press stop. There we go.